Hey guys, g'day again. So I'm back here, pretty much the CX500. Yeah, it was all going really well. I was riding it actually the other day, and I looked down and I was like, why is it not accelerating quite right? Something's not quite right. Looked down and it was just fuel pouring out of the overflow in the bottom of where your floats are in your carby. And I was like, holy shit, it's probably going to set my pants on fire and lose my nuts if it ever ignites. So I pretty much pulled over and was trying to work out what the hell was going on. But yeah, pretty much I was like, got to get on top of this because I just wanted to keep riding it for a little bit to get a feel of the bike, get used to it. And yeah, of course, hasn't been used for a long time, and our mate before me reckons he did all the mechanical side of it, but teething, I guess. Teething happens. So yeah, I'll be playing around with the carby. The floats seem like they're loose, like they're not jammed up or anything, which is what you want. Want them nice and loose. This is the other side. I'll put the cover back on. I already did this side and that was freed up, but yeah, now I've got to play around with some YouTube videos and try and work out. Ironic, making a YouTube video, but I've got to watch YouTube videos to work out how this works. But yeah, once I find out what the matter is, I'll let you guys know. So, pulled off the twin carbies, got access to both floats, making sure there's no holes in them. They look pretty good. I did notice that there was a bit of crap. I've cleaned them out now. I mean, I'll give it another clean again before we put them back on. But yeah, they all seem pretty good, so I'm a bit confused why it keeps overflowing. And pretty much, so these guys sit essentially on here, right? And this is upside down at the moment, but fuel comes in through your line, and then your floats are supposed to monitor when it reaches a certain point. When they're up, that'll shut off, but it's not shutting off. So it's like they're staying down, but they're not. They actually got good movement. And then if they get caught, or for some reason fuel keeps filling up in there, it'll come out the bottom of these nipples on both sides. And at the moment, it was, yeah, just pouring out of the overflows. Yeah. I thought I'd show you while I'm in the process of it. Pretty much, you got your float. And your float has a pin like this guy that runs through, pretty much through him, and then out the other side. I just took him out by using a nail, just poke it. They're sitting there pretty loosely and that comes out. And I noticed that it's got this pin, and if you look really closely, it's got a rubber taper, and that pretty much, when the float comes up, it pushes the rubber taper up into the seat, and that stops the overflowing coming up. So yeah, I've noticed that also on the top side, if you look really closely, it's really hard to see, but there's a pin on top, and that's loaded on a spring, because that sits in your float. You can't really see it. It's sort of one of those things that until you actually got it yourself, maybe on that angle, when it sits in there properly, you sort of see that movement there, that's pushing off the spring. And now I reckon this side, from the looks of things, I don't know if it's actually coming up. It's not doing its job. Maybe, I'm curious. So I just want to give him a bit of a clean, and then put him back in and have a look at the other side. What we've got. He's looking pretty good. Slide him in. Yeah. Better put him in before he goes back. Make sure he lines back up in there. Pin finds his home. If I'm actually looking at what I'm doing, there we go. Now that's sitting back in there. That seems to be moving fine. So now if we take this one off, So I've just used the nail just to get enough of a pinch. My big fat hands just somehow get on it, thankfully. Take it this side out, and you can just see that little pin, and it's that one's working as well, and it's doing its job. Everything looks clean and tidy in there. Like I'm not worried about that. So I tried looking at a few videos, and I don't know, nothing's really helping me. Some guy reckons you can kink this just to change the angle. Kink that and change the angle of your float, but I don't reckon. I mean, yeah, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to break it. So back to square one, I guess. Keep looking through videos, and I'll update you. Now here we go. Camera stop wobbling. This isn't ideal. I've just got it hanging here, but I've hooked it back up to our fuel line just so we know that we've got fuel coming through, and I just want to see what happens when I lift up and close the floats to see if that's actually doing its job when it's pushed all the way up. So we've got our, where is it? Yeah, we'll see what happens. So it's got no fuel in it at the moment. I'm going to turn it on, hold the floats up, and it should. Alright, so we've got fuel coming in. It's coming into the filter. That's what it just said it's trying to do. Not sure why. Alright, now if we take that out, letting go. See how it's just draining, but if our floats come up, that one stopped. That one stopped. So if they're both up, when they're both sitting up, it's stopping, it's doing its job. So we know that the floats work. I'm going to let it sit here for a second because you can't really see, but in here there's two other nipples that they were overflowing with fuel as well. So I'm just going to hold it for a second and see if they start spurting out at all, but I don't reckon. They're looking like it would have done that by now. They seem to be okay. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know if I've just freed it up by getting in there and playing around with it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put pretty much put those bottom pieces back on. I forgot what they're called. I don't know, covers, float covers. That'll do. Put those back on, hang it here again, and just see if it does its job. If the floats hold up and stop the fuel pouring out. But that'll be the moment of truth. If I've just been in there, I sprayed at WD-40, there was a little bit of crap in there, maybe I freed it up, I don't know, because it didn't have a filter on before, so I just put this filter on just for the time being. Put those housings back on. I'll bring it closer so you can have a look at what's going on. It's back on. I've just sat it somewhere comfortably, and I haven't turned on the fuel yet, but I'm interested to see if the floats still do their job. So I'll try and hold it fairly level. All right, here goes. Put it back on, it's running. It's gonna fill up. So you can see it's pouring in up here. This fuel filter's gonna do something. It looks like it's got a lot of filling up. I'm hoping it's gonna do its job, otherwise we're gonna have fuel go everywhere again. Don't even have my rags nearby. Alright, so far nothing coming out the bottom here, which is a good sign. Got an air bubble, which is alright. So you can shake that. That's doing its job. Looks like the floats are doing their job. I could be wrong. Could be, you know, again, when you get it fired up and you got compression and everything going on in there, could change. But it seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. So who knows what was going on. I reckon it's just crap because it didn't have a fuel filter. Crap got in there, jarred it up. I've got in there, taken it out, cleaned all the crap. Whether it was visible to the human eye, I don't think so, because I couldn't see anything, but I'm an amateur, so yeah, I'll put it all back together, take it for a ride, check it all and see see how it goes. But yeah, thanks for following along. So we're back here, all hooked back up again. I left the covers off, no point putting them back on. But yeah, pretty much I haven't turned it on again since the last test, but we've got this fuel back on, we've got the filter in back there. So I'm hoping that we'll turn this on, it shouldn't flood. It's still got all the fuel left in there, like I'm assuming that it hasn't gone anywhere while I've put it all back together. Yeah, no leaks, which is good news, great news. I'll fire it up again soon and have a play around, see what happens. Thanks.